There's the snap, spot, kick away. It is up, and it is good! He got it! Yes, we're going to fly home on the wings of Jake Bates! Oh, baby! Good from 58, good from 52, and that's good enough for a victory for the Detroit Lions!
Elbow, forearm, he's going to be down.
The result of the play is a touchdown.
And the flag that was thrown on this was picked up.
I don't know, did it get the face mask?
Only do that if you're telling the official you're reporting.
The Lions hangover.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Brad, your fantastic host of the Lions Hangover podcast, and today is my favorite day of the week. We call it Victory Monday. Yeah, baby. Before we get started, don't forget you can find me on all social medias. I'm on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Let's see. Oh, yeah, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. Smash is the buzzword of the month, I guess. Smash that subscribe button. Please leave a review, 5 stars preferable, and yeah, I appreciate it. Share. Tell your friends about me. I appreciate the growth that we've seen. Currently, we've been broadcasted, me, and, by extension, you guys, we've been broadcasted into 6 different countries. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. The Lions, holy cow, they squeak out that winner 26-23 on a Jake Bates 52-yard field goal. It's everything I wanted it to be. We will talk about stats in just a minute. First, let's just go over the game. Let's take a deep breath. Was that not one of the ugliest victories we've ever seen? That was just a dirty, dirty victory. Dirty, dirty victory. That was a dirty victory, like a dirty butthole with a thin piece of toilet paper that's been stuck to it for 3 weeks already. It was that dirty, but nonetheless, the Lions, they pull it out, man. But yeah, let's just go over it. Just my thoughts on the game. The O-line, the offensive line had one of their worst games, as a whole, as a unit, even without Taylor Decker. There wasn't one single performance. It's just Jared Goff was pressured all day. They couldn't get the run game going up the middle. It wasn't until they started running to the outside a bit more, screen passes, tosses, stuff like that, did they get the run game going late in the second half. I wasn't a fan of the play calling early on. The Lions, this game, especially in the first half, reminded me of the first 2 weeks, even the first 3 weeks of the regular season. It wasn't until after that Arizona game before we started finally clicking and finding out that we should run and then pass to complement the run. I don't feel like we got there until the second half of this game. It was just an ugly game. Not a fan of the play calling. Before the end of the half, not the one where Jared Goff threw that interception on that Hail Mary at the end of the half, but the drive before that, I just thought the Lions lacked imagination. They lacked creativity. It was like they gave up and they were just like, okay, let's just get us out of the half. I did not like the lack of aggressiveness there. I am okay with that interception at the half. I want to see like, hey, let's go for it. So I'm okay with that interception. Jared Goff did have those 5 interceptions. Not a fan of the 5. However, you can take away 2 of those, with that deflected fumble pass thing that ended up being intercepted, and then that Hail Mary. I'm willing to wipe those 2 out, but he still had 3 garbage interceptions. It's like they kept trying to force the deep ball, and what happens, man? He's not accurate with the deep ball, and he throws it short. That first interception that he was throwing deep to James, and I'm okay with that first try. Like, sometimes you get lucky. We've been lucky this season before. Sometimes I'm okay with that first try. I can't wipe out that interception, but I'm okay with them attempting it. But after that, like, let's just go back to the regular game plan. Let's just go back to running the ball, and then you pass to open it up. But the Lions, Goff all of those interceptions that he was trying to throw it deep, they were short. They weren't accurate. They were easy pickoffs for the defense. He wasn't putting the ball in a spot where he could get it. And I'm not even mad at Goff today, and I'll get to that in a little bit too. Like, I was pissed at Goff most of the game yesterday, and you could just tell from the very get-go, that first pass, it was just straight into the ground. Like, he forgot to let the ball go. You know, it was just really weird. But again, the offensive line played like garbage most of the game. Goff was pressured most of the evening. The run game, they just could not get it going. What are some of the bright sides, though, of the game? Overall, the defense was freaking unbelievable. Like, they were put into some horrible situations, so they were able to recover. You know, ultimately, if the defense doesn't play the game they play, this game was a blowout. You know, this game was a blowout. You get 2 interceptions from Carlton Davis, 2 very athletic and timely interceptions from Carlton Davis. The third, you have Brian Branch play like he's never played before. That dude, he is amazing. Brian Branch, you are the man. My favorite player on the defense. And did you notice when they were doing the player introductions on the NBC graphics, you know, like, hey, this is Brian Branch, you know, Alabama, you know, all whatever. They were given the PFF rankings. And did you guys see that Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph were number 1 and number 2 in the PFF out of 88 players? We have the 2 best safeties in the league right now, and I think they proved it last night, especially Brian Branch. He was freaking unbelievable. His defense, his pass breakups they were just a thing of beauty. He was as close as you could get to the defender without touching him. It's like he was inches apart from the wide receiver, is what I meant to say. Carlton Davis played great. I still saw lots of blown coverages from Amik Robertson, you know, and I'm trying not to hate on the guy, but there were one of those open passes in the early part of the game. Like, that was Amik Robertson blown coverage. Like, he needs to step it up some more. We didn't have Zadarius Smith. I was kind of surprised by that. I was surprised that they just kept him out a little bit more, but that's just Dan Campbell being a nice dude. I understand that, but at the same time, this is a game where you kind of needed it. The Lions did get some pressure on C.J. Stroud. Aleem McNeil had a hell of a game. The run defense had a hell of a game. This defense overall was the best thing of last night. I can't tell you. Most of the game last night, I was just staring at the TV, just angry, and it just did not feel right. We were not playing our game. Like, you have one of the fastest guys in the league, Jahmyr Gibbs. You got to get him to the outside somehow. They finally figured it out at the end. David Montgomery, like, even he had struggles, but he's a powerful runner, but he was stopped a lot running up the middle of the field. Give credit to Houston's defense. Houston's defense played great until we were finally able to crack the code at the end. But the pass defense, look, Jared Goff could do nothing. And some of that was because of the poor play of the offensive line. And some of that was on Jared Goff. Like, and I'm not trying to bash on him. I know I could be labeled a Jared Goff hater. Like I said, I'm not mad at him. Again, we will talk about that in a second. There's just so much more he could have done, you know, and he just made some horrible throws and some horrible decisions, that sort of thing. There was one flag where they picked it up where they said there is no penalty because the ball was thrown on the ground and it's not catchable. How many times have we been called for pass interference and the ball was not catchable, but they still called pass interference like that? Like, I think it was just a week or two ago that we were called for pass interference and the ball wasn't even catchable. Half of those Tyrion Arnold calls should not have been called if the ball is not catchable. Like, it's just, I don't know. That stuff irritates the crap out of me. Speaking of pass interferences and Tyrion Arnold, I am prepared to see all of the hate for Tyrion Arnold from the Houston fans talking about how he got away with a pass interference call. And yes, he did get away with a pass interference call. There's no doubt about it. He got away with it. However, I don't care. I can't tell you how many times we've been told to suck it up and play better and not put yourself in a situation where a blown call or blown not call can determine the outcome of the game. You just have to play better. So that's what I have to tell Houston fans right now is just, look, I'm sorry. We saw it too. We're not blind just because we're homers, like just because we want the Lions to win. We saw, yes, it was a missed PI call, but you still put yourself in a situation to lose that game because of that. You had the opportunity to put us away, and bottom line is we played better than the Houston Texans in the second half, and not just better. We played like twice as better as you did because we gave you a 16-point lead, right? You didn't score a single point in the second half. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. We'll get to that as well. Man, I have to talk about Jameson Williams. He had physically the best game. He was put in so many compromising positions. He caught, and some of it was like a lack of focus where he kind of had to double catch that ball, but he got hit after that. And then there's one where he got sandwiched, just crushed, and he held on to the ball. Dude, that dude is tough. I was thinking he was soft up until this point. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was soft. I like J-Mo. I really like J-Mo, and I still think the best is yet to come. But watching him last night catch those balls, and he just got abused. Just the Houston's defense, they beat us up. Like, I'm sure there are multiple Lions players feeling pretty sore today. Like, they really beat us up. And he just held on to the ball. He did what he had to do, and he saved us a couple times. All of those catches, I think he had like 3 catches. All of those catches were huge. Huge. Kudos to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had that huge first down at the end of the game. I really appreciate that. And holy hell, the God, man, Jake Bates. Jake Bates. This is what I've wanted to see. I've wanted to see a kicker that Dan Campbell trusts. And honestly, I don't know if he trusts him. Those kicks were the most beautiful kicks. It was the ugliest game, but those kicks were the sexiest kicks I've ever seen. That ball, it went straight. There was no hook to it. It went straight, because you could just see that it was going to be close. That ball didn't go to the left. It didn't go to the right. It just went straight down, and he had maybe half an inch on both of those kicks. It's like he did one for the right post, and he did one for the left post at the end of the game. 58 yards, 52 yards. Ultimately, he was the difference maker. It was high pressure, and he came through for us. This dude has earned my trust, and I hope he's earned Dan Campbell's trust, and I hope he's earned everybody else's trust too. You need a kick, you throw Jake Bates out there, and yes, he's going to have some misses at some point. Hopefully they're not critical misses like Farabarn, whatever that guy's name is. That was a huge miss that he had. I was a little bit nervous when the Lions were playing to win with a field goal because, it was 52 yards. There was one time, though, when I was like, hell, let him rip it from 70. Let's see. We know he's got a strong leg. Apparently, the longest kick in franchise history is Matt Prater with 59 yards. And I thought for sure we had a 60-yarder in there or a 61-yarder. I thought Jason Hanson did a couple 60-yarders. Jason Hanson was a great kicker, too, all around great kicker. Mr. Automatic almost. He rarely ever missed. Yeah. Oh man, what a great game though. It was a great game because we won. The 78% of that time I was actually, even up until they made that last kick, I was just pissed at my TV. It was not our game, but man, we finally put it together. It was a good fourth quarter. And even when we were down by 10, I was like, we're only down by 10 points. Like we can do this. It didn't feel right. And okay, so let's talk about Jared Goff now and how much of a hater I am, but I'm not mad at him today. If you told me the Lions were down 16 points, whatever it was, I can look it up in a second, and Jared Goff was our quarterback, I've said this before, he's not a quarterback that I would trust to lead a comeback. Now, we did have a comeback. We did win, okay? But it was not a sexy comeback. It was not a late, and like he did not take control of the team. But what he did do, and he earned my trust with this a little bit, he actually comes out a little bit of a winner in my book, even though he had those 5 interceptions, which 3 of them I'm mad at him for. But little by little, he got it under control. There was nothing flashy about it. There was nothing sexy about it. He just completed those passes. J-Mo caught a ball. Laporta had a great game. St. Brown had some huge catches, which, by the way, St. Brown now owns the franchise record for most consecutive reception touchdowns in a season, or just franchise touchdowns in general, with 7. He broke the tie with Herman Moore. I had a feeling he was going to get a touchdown, but man, it was not looking like it early on. Regardless, though, like I was saying, Jared Goff, little by little, he just started chipping away, and we just got back into it. And then it was just like, okay, time's running out. We just need to score, So kudos to Jared Goff. It's as angry as I was every time he tried to force that ball deep, and it failed miserably, and it was baffling me of why we keep trying to force that ball deep. Again, I'm okay with that first attempt. That first attempt. Like we've done that before, where it's like, oh my God, J-Mo just caught a 70-yard ball, and now we're leading the game. It didn't work this time. It didn't work 3 times in this game, where he was trying to throw it deep. And I just like the resiliency, Jared Goff got beat up last night. He's probably one of the guys that are sore today, but he hung in there. And even though he's not a gunslinger, like the previous quarterback was, he got the job done. And it wasn't something that I thought he could do. And the Texans were like 5-0 after leading by 10 points at the half or something like that. So kudos to Jared Goff. Kudos to the Lions offense for sticking out on it. The offensive line did get better in that fourth quarter. Really happy with the entire team in the fourth quarter, but I'm most happy with that defense and Brian Branch and Carlton Davis. Those two, huge. Aleem McNeil, huge. Okay. And there were times when the Lions defense, those guys that are just filling in right now, there were times when they did a hell of a job. A hell of a job. So let's take a look at these stats. Yeah, Texans did not score a single point in the second half. They scored 20. It was 23-7. So that was 16 points, right? Is my mathing correctly? Joe Mixon had that first touchdown. He took it up, and I can't say this dude's name. Kiemi Fairbairn. He had that 34-yard field goal. Sam Laporta had that huge 20-yard pass from Jared Goff. And then Fairbairn, he kicked that 56-yarder. And this is when you're kind of like, man, if the Lions could just score again, like we would have the lead. Fairbairn kicks that second 29-yard field goal. It's like, okay, well, if we score a touchdown here, we're only down by 2, that sort of a thing. Then we go down 23-7 with the John Mechie, the third 15-yard pass from C.J. Stroud, and apparently that's his first career touchdown, so kudos to him. So we're losing 23-7, and I'm like, man, I didn't like the play calling at the end of the half. I know I talked about that, not the Hail Mary. I don't mind the Hail Mary. David Montgomery has a 3-yard touchdown run, failed 2-point conversion. I'm okay with that 2-point conversion attempt because either you put yourself in position to tie the game on the next touchdown and 2-point conversion, or you put yourself in a position where you're only down by 10 points, which the Lions were. So a touchdown on a field goal, still very manageable at the beginning of the third quarter. Now, this is where things get good because in the fourth quarter, Amon-Ra St. Brown gets that 9-yard pass from Jared Goff to make it 23-20. Then you got Jake Bates with 5 minutes left with a 58-yard field goal. Man, what an amazing kick. If he doesn't, both of those kicks are clutch because if you take one of those away, it's a different game. And then, of course, he gets the game-winning field goal, 52 yards with 0 seconds left. And did you see Dan Campbell? Why did you call that timeout? Like, you could tell there was still time left on that play clock. He was trying to run it out to the last second, but, it really wasn't that big of a deal. But I know he was kind of pissed about it because he was yelling at the ref. All right, so let's get into the stats, starting with the Texans. C.J. Stroud, he had a pretty solid game, except for those the second half. He went 19 of 33 for 232 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, both in the second half by Carlton Davis. He was sacked 4 times. That's the other thing. When there was pressure on C.J. Stroud, he didn't look like he knew how to handle the pressure. Like, he needs to throw the ball away. I can't believe he doesn't know that after such a great year last year, and they're still off to a good start this year. When you got pressure like that, you got to get rid of the ball, man. He just kind of absorbed that sack. Oh, and then that offensive tackle. Hold on, I got to readjust in my seat here. Yeah. Okay, we readjusted. The offensive tackle of the Texans, he tried to strip that ball away from C.J. Stroud, and I know he's thinking, I could be the hero. Just give me the ball, and I will get this first down. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Dude, your quarterback has the ball, and you just caused a fumble, and he almost single-handedly lost the game. That was a bonehead move. I hope he's getting talked to about that today. C.J. Stroud, though, he finished the day with a 64.2 quarterback rating. Our run defense, this was amazing because they held Joe Mixon to 46 yards on 25 carries for an average of 1.8 yards. 1.8 yards. His longest was an 8-yard run. Joe Mixon did have that one touchdown, though. That is freaking amazing. The dude is averaging over 100 yards a game. And the Lions run defense came in there and said, no, not today, son. Sit down. C.J. Stroud, I thought, especially when he was having some pressure, he had more opportunity to scramble, and he just never did scramble. I thought he would have been a little bit more mobile, but like I said, as soon as he saw pressure, he just kind of froze up and just kept running backwards, and hey, whatever, we will take it. John Mechie III, he led the team with receptions. He had 5 for 74 yards in that touchdown, his longest being 25 yards. Dalton Schultz, I thought, had a decent game, 3 catches for 66 yards. Joe Mixon had 2 catches for 44 yards. Tank Dell, 5 catches for 39 yards. And Xavier Hutchinson had 2 catches for 6 yards. We don't need to talk about much more than that. C.J. Stroud did have that fumble, but it was recovered by Titus Howard. He was the guy that stripped the ball from him. What a dumb play. Titus Howard, get your act together, man. Defensively, Azeez Al-Shaair, he had 8 tackles. Daniel Hunter had 7. Henry To'oto, I think I did it right. He had 6 tackles. We don't really need to go through all of these, though. However, not a single sack. Holy cow, I didn't realize that. They did not have a single sack on us. Kamari Lassiter, he went out with an injury, although he intercepted Goff twice. Jamie Ward has 1 interception. Henry To'oto has 1, and Kalen Bullock has 1. Fairbairn, he was 3 for 4 of field goals, his longest being 56. So good for him. Hey, attendance was 71,512. Now let's get to the good guys. Jared Goff finished 15 of 30 for 240 yards for 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, not sacked at all. Finished with a 59.7 quarterback rating, not too great. Jahmyr Gibbs ran the ball 19 times, 71 yards, his longest being 20. David Montgomery 12 times for 32 yards, 1 touchdown. Sam Laporta led the team with yards with 3 receptions for 66 yards, 1 touchdown, longest being 37. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 6 catches, 60 yards, 1 touchdown. Jameson Williams, 3 catches for 53 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 2 catches, 37 yards. So that puts him over 100 yards on the day. He had 108 total yards of offense. David Montgomery, 1 catch for 24 yards. So that puts David Montgomery at 56 yards on the day. The announcers, though, the post-game show, they were saying, oh, there goes Montgomery. He's looking angry. I don't know why. He had a solid game. He contributed. I know that 24-yard pass came in the second half, and that was pretty huge. Oh, he did have a fumble, though. It's listed, but he did recover it. I don't remember him fumbling. Oh, okay, I remember that. Yeah, that's when he just fell on it. Brian Branch, huge game. He finished the day with 10 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 2 pass defendeds, and 1 quarterback hit. Jack Campbell also had a huge game, 7 tackles and 1 pass defended. Aleem McNeil, 6 tackles, 1 sack. Josh Paschal, 5 tackles, 1 sack. Let's get it. Pat O'Connor, never heard of you, dude. You had 2 tackles and a sack. Good game. James Houston, 1 tackle, 1 sack. Did you guys see the video going around? It looks like James Houston might have pooed himself a little bit. It's out there. It's out there on TikTok. There might be a little poo spot for James Houston. Look, I don't care. I don't care if you poop yourself. Just get that sack, dude. Anyway, the Lions finished with 4 sacks. Carlton Davis had 2 interceptions. He's the man. Dude, those were both fantastic catches. He just came out of nowhere to get those balls. It was amazing. And that one was definitely a touchdown-saving interception. Jake Bates, the hero of the day, 2 for 2, longest being 58, and he was 2 for 2 on the extra points. Jack Fox, he's the man. He can do it. Yes, he can. 4 punts for 188 yards, average 47 yards. He was inside the 20 once. His longest was 60 yards. Oh boy, boys. Oh boy. Okay, we're coming up to the closing. We're coming up to the closing stats here. Okay, let's just cover some team stats here, and we can do it now. Okay, Lions had 19 first downs. Texans 16. Lions ran 62 plays. Texans ran 65. Total yards of offense 345 to Texas's 240. I'm sorry, Houston's 248. Lions had 14 drives. Houston had 13. We're actually pretty evenly matched right there. Passing, Lions had 240 to Houston's 192. Rushing, Lions had 105 to Houston's 56. Lions were 2 for 3 in the red zone. Houston was 2 for 4 penalties. Each team had 4 penalties. Lions had 61 yards. Houston only had 30. Lions had 5 turnovers. We are aware of this. And Houston had 2 turnovers. Time of possession, Lions had 27 minutes, 32 seconds. Houston had 32 minutes, 28 seconds. I have to say, I love watching the game on Peacock. That's just my own personal preference. That has nothing to do with the stats. Okay, we made it. We did it. We covered all of the game. I'm trying to think, is there much else to say? I don't think there is. The Lions play the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up this Sunday at 1 o'clock. I don't know if that's on Fox or CBS or what, but doesn't matter. I'll be there cheering us on. I hope you guys are too. I think that's it for me. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to rate and subscribe. Thank you. All right. I'm going to go now. This Arby's is messing up my stomach, so I have to go take care of some business. All right. I got to go pull a James Houston. Hey, I'm sorry, James Houston. Don't beat me up. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.